Casey's Audio Vault.
Hugh Dillon.
October 6th, 2009.
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Rocking in the free world, baby.
All right. Where are you at today?
Montreal.
So we've got a new album, Works Well With Others, coming out next week.
Yeah.
How is that working in the Tragically Hip's Bathhouse studio?
It was just a riot. I mean, what a great place to go back and you know, there have been so many great hip records to come out of that studio and working with the guys in the hip. Rob Baker plays pedal steel on a song I've got called Lucky, and Paul Langlois from the hip produced it. Just a great experience, you know, in terms of making records.
Now, how many of these songs have been with you for a while?
I've got a whole ton of them. I mean, I had an indie release a couple of years ago. All of these songs are post-Headstones, though.
Right.
And a couple of them have been in shows. I mean, for example, this Friday on Flashpoint, the last track is featured in the Flashpoint episode, so it's good.
Nice. And nice. Yeah, I see 10 Feet Tall is included in there, and you did that a little while back with the Redemption Choir.
Yes, it's probably one of my favorite rock and roll songs.
Now, how does this work with you, you know, doing the acting thing, being in Flashpoint, and getting your music on there? Is it kind of a slip of the disc and a wink to the producer?
Yeah, well, I mean, with getting the songs on, what's great is I don't use any influence at all. I have these songs, the producers hear them, and it's not the producers. It goes to CBS in L.A. and New York, and it doesn't have my name on it. And all the songs are handed in that way. So the song gets chosen on its own merit, which is, I think, the way to go, you know?
Yeah, and the album is streaming at HughDillon.com right now. I've listened to a few of the tracks. I'm a big fan of the work that Frank Black did since the Pixies. Have you heard any of his stuff with the Catholics?
Love it. Big fan of Frank Black. You know, I'm just a big fan of songwriters. That's the thing, you know. If somebody, you know, you got to have the what it takes to get past the apathy and sit down and write these things if they mean anything to you, whether it's, you know, writing songs or acting or whatever you're really interested in life. You just get up and you got to go and do it, and you know, and then that's what it's all about, really.
Where does the song "Friends of Mine" come from for you?
I wrote a bunch of these songs with Chris Ostie, who plays bass on the record. He was in the Redemption Choir, and he just had this great melody, and I had finished shooting, I think, Durham County, and I had just, you know, I'd laid that song down. We had written it all in about 20 minutes, and that's when these really great songs come along, because, you know, you're not trying to impress anybody, you're not trying to be cool, you just wham, there it is, and if it's, you know, and then it stands the test of time that way.
And congratulations, I just saw the news this morning, CBS ordered another 13 episodes of Flashpoint.
Yeah, thanks very much. I appreciate it. Is
there any stress in your life when it comes to that? You're like, man, I hope they sign us up again. I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing it.
You know, you always want to do great things that you're a part of, but, you know, I don't stress too much. I just kind of take everything, you know, in stride and take it a day at a time, and that way you're kind of living in the moment and enjoying what you're doing, not thinking too much in the future, and that seems to have been working for me.
And 19 Gemini nominations this year, it looks like?
Yeah, it's incredible. Well, it's a great show, you know, and it's, you know, just the fact that it's, you know, it wasn't a fluke, and it kind of came out of the gate strong, and the numbers have been crazy. It's like it averages 9 million people a week watch that show. But it's, you know, again, it goes right back to these people who get up and get out there and write it, and you know, really believe in what they're doing. It's, you know, it's I do the same thing with songwriting. You know, it's not just throwing it at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
What's the balance in your life like with 2 TV shows and now a record to promote? And I'm guessing you probably want to get on tour. Is it a crazy time?
Well, it's crazy, but I mean, you know, it's super creative. You know, to be working on 2 very different shows, and I mean, what's always saved me is songwriting. I mean, I've played in bands before the Headstones. I played in bands after the Headstones, but it is that songwriting process that I always liked Bob Dylan, and I always liked, you know, Lou Reed, and I always liked the Doors, and I always liked the Beatles. I liked the Stones, people that continually wrote songs, you know, and that's what it is. That's what it really it's about. That's what I do, you know, and then I was just very lucky to catch these breaks with acting, you know.
How soon do you think you're head out on the road so we can see Hugh Dillon live in Winnipeg?
The sooner the better. I mean, I hope to get going right in the new year, from New Year on. Just depends on the schedule we're shooting these shows. But, Winnipeg is the town that really, made me who I am in terms of the live performance, and the town that really gravitated towards the Headstones and rock and roll. It's, and I've said it before, it and Ottawa, I think, were the two big towns that picked up on the kind of music I write and the songwriting before anybody else did. So Winnipeg's like going home in a way.
I'm reading these reports online. Is there any truth to a Hardcore Logo sequel?
That is, that all comes down to money. If Bruce gets the funding, we're going to do it because that's the guy that gave me my start, and I'm super loyal to him. I mean, I started with a Winnipeg native, Adam Beach, and we did Dance Me Outside with Bruce in the early 90s. And then, of course, I did Hardcore Logo. So if anything that guy wants to do, I'll find the time.
So is there a script written? Like, what's going to happen? Is this a... it's a pretty bizarre script. It's like kind of like The Matrix meets the Sex Pistols. It's pretty cool. So, if it happens, if he gets the money, we'll shoot it.
All the interviews you want on iTunes and at Power97.com. Casey's Audio Vault.
Casey Norman is Power 97's music director and can be heard every weekday from 2 till 6 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Power 97 is Winnipeg's best rock.